Oh, hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we are back with another UFC pay-per-view. This time, we're going to be looking at UFC 292. Aljamain Sterling, everybody's favorite champion, versus Sean O'Malley. And in the co-main event is going to be Zhang Weili versus Amanda Lemos. This card is okay. It's not all that. It's unfortunately suffered a lot of losses on the card. Song Yadong, Cody Garbrandt, Rob Font was supposed to be on it. Yeah, there's a lot of like fight. Oh, Jeff Neal. They just lost a lot of fights, and the cards really hurt. And they're also shoving the Ultimate Fighter finale on here. So as of recording this video, though, we still don't have the Bantamweight final, I believe. The Bantamweight finalist fight. So, yeah. They feel like they're really banking on Sean O'Malley's popularity. I don't know if that's enough to save this card. At least for the hardcore fans out there. But yes, let's break down the card. First fight going to be Karine Silva versus Mariana Moros. I struggle with her name a lot. Forgive me. But yes, Moros has been in the UFC for a little bit. She's had some decent fights against some competition, but she's lost a lot of the fights that like were important, such against Hill and Esparza. Jennifer Maia as well too, so not really looking good for her. Meanwhile, Karine Silva's had 2 fights in the UFC, and each of them have been submissions in the first round. She's looking very good. Hot prospect come into this. I'm gonna be going with Silva by sub. Andrea Lee versus another Natalia Silva. And spoiler alert, another Silva that's going to be winning this fight. She's 3 fights in UFC. Yes, she's 3 fights in UFC. Got some good finishes, knockouts on her. Andrea Lee, not the best, unfortunately. She's on a little bit of a losing streak, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 2-fight loss streak. Nothing special about Lee. While Silva, she's going to be fighting for rank. I feel she's going to be taking this. I wrote my note submission. I don't know why. I'm going to rescind that and just say Natalia Silva. I'm just going to pick her by money line, to be honest with you. Not going to really be picking something. One thing to mention, though, don't like those odds. I don't like those odds for unknowns. Like, not super well established fighters to be minus 345. That's a little insane, but oh well. Next fight is going to be Andre Petroski versus GM3. Oh man, this fight's actually hard for me. Andre Petroski, he's 4-0 in the UFC. He's looked really good at his fights. He's got a lot of knockouts, a lot of submissions. He's overall a very solid fighter, but GM3 is weird. Oh, by the way, yeah. GM3 is weird. This man will get absolutely floored, KO'd by Hamzat in 17 seconds. Then he'll go on a 3-fight win streak. And honestly, this fight was a lot closer than most people would think. Looks like he was coming back by submitting Bruno Silva, which was insane. And then he got murdered by Joe Pyfer. Like, he flip-flops when he fights against guys who really have something in them, like a Hamzat or a Pyfer. Like, he's gonna lose those guys. But Petroski, I don't know if he has it. I like those odds for GM3, and I haven't liked Petroski's submission defense, to be honest with you. Don't believe he's been submitted, but still. I'm gonna actually pick GM3 in this fight. I think GM3 is gonna be the victor in this fight. And he's a pretty big underdog, so that's interesting. Very interesting. Austin Hubbard versus Kurt Holobaugh. I don't care much about this fight at all, to be honest with you. I'm going to be leaning towards Austin Hubbard. From what we've seen from him, he's a good volume fighter. He's made people quit. I believe it was, who was it? He made quit on the stool. Oh, Max. Max R. Yeah, he just straight up quit on the stool. Overall, he's got the better volume. He has more significant strikes, overall percentage. Kurt Holobaugh, most of his strikes are going to be from clinches and grappling exchanges. Not a lot of grappling. I don't know. This is a hard fight to say because both guys are not really all that. I'm going to be going with Austin Hubbard. I'm going to go with him. I like his striking slightly better, but this is not a fight I'm betting on. Not one I would even suggest you to bet on. Now we have RoboCop. Gregory Rodriguez versus Dennis Tululin. I was so high on RoboCop. I was so high on him until he got absolutely floored by Ferreira. He had that war against Chidi Bang Bang. Like, he was looking good, and he just got KO'd flatline. I said that after the fight that I feel his chin was kind of thrashed by Chidi, because that was a back and forth war with a brutal cut. While RoboCop may have survived, I feel his chin's never going to be the same. Dennis Tululin is a high volume guy. He throws a lot. Both guys throw a lot, but I don't know. I feel like that's most of that numbers is fluffed up from the Chidi fight. But Dennis Tululin, he's throws constantly. Not a lot of power in a shot, so I don't feel he'll be able to flatline KO RoboCop. But I only slightly lean towards RoboCop, which is why I don't like that minus 355 tag. Yes, Dennis Tululin's not all that, but he just got flatline KO'd. One punch. Gregory Rodriguez got knocked out. So I'm only going to slightly lean towards RoboCop, but I would not bet on this fight at all. Absolutely in the slightest. We've seen Tululin's been submitted quite a few times, though. That's something to mention. He has been submitted twice in UFC, and I believe 2 more times outside the UFC. So RoboCop could do a club and sub, honestly, but I wouldn't pick a method. I don't even like picking Rodriguez at that tag, but oh well. Screw this fight. Chris, the All-American Weidman, the former middleweight champion, is making a comeback against Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares has always been a guy I've never been high on. Never have I been high on him, to be honest with you. Brad Tavares, I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's good at all. Got flatline KO'd by Silva, and that's his most recent fight 4 months ago, coming off a recent knockout. He then got the living piss beat out of him by Dricus du Plessis. He's also got the living piss beat out by Israel Adesanya. Got flatline KO'd by Robert Whittaker. Where was that? Got flatline KO'd by Whittaker. I don't think he's ever been good. He beat Nate Marquardt. I don't think he's ever really been that good, to be honest with you, Brad Tavares. I've never picked him, never been high on him, and I've gotten money every time I haven't picked him. But Chris Weidman is coming off the most horrific injury in the sport. An injury he actually shares with a guy who he did it to, kind of, Anderson Silva. Those leg breaks are horrible. They are the worst in the absolute sport, and you don't come back from those the same. Well, to be fair, only person to come back from that is Silva. Conor McGregor also suffered that similar leg break, and he is yet to come back. Chris Weidman is coming back. Last that happened was at 261, I believe. It was the Masvidal Usman card. That was in April 2 years ago, and he's coming back now. Long layoff. You know he's not going to be throwing kicks. You know, because that break on Uriah Hall was off a check. Uriah Hall just checked the kick, legs gone. He's not going to be kicking Tavares, especially Tavares who has pretty thick legs. He's not going to be kicking. He's going to be focused on his boxing. Tavares, I feel, is going to be the better boxer. Simple as that. Weidman, if he leans into his wrestling, I think he's better of a wrestler overall. He has a very high takedown average, and Weidman's been able to dominate people with his wrestling. But Tavares has 80% takedown defense. Tavares, he can throw, he could hang in there, and he could stay in there the whole time. I feel if Weidman's leg just doesn't shatter out on him, he'll be tough enough to go a distance with Tavares. But I feel Tavares by KO is super high. It's super likely on this just because you don't come back from that. But then again, Anderson Silva, who did come back from that leg break, he wasn't like he was getting flatline KO'd left and right, but he did have issues with kicks. For example, Cannonier and Uriah Hall, he struggled with leg kicks. So be on the lookout for Tavares by KO. I feel like that's a very good prop if you're honest. If you really, really want to bet on this. Tavares money line is safe though. And then Chito Vera is going to be taking on Pedro Munoz. Another person I forgot is not on the card anymore. Henry Cejudo. I forgot. Henry Cejudo is supposed to be fighting Chito Vera. Much more better of a fight. Much more exciting of a fight. I like that fight a lot. I don't give a damn about Pedro Munoz. And Chito Vera, he still has that style where he's got that sniper power puncher style, but it doesn't work against a high volume or highly grapple heavy guy. Pedro Munoz is not going to be high in grappling. He has even less of a takedown average. He has good takedown defense. Both guys have solid takedown defense. So Vera did get taken down, controlled by Jose Aldo and D1 Corey Sandhagen. But Pedro Munoz isn't taking him down. Pedro Munoz is a leg kicker. He likes to kick them legs. So I feel overall he's going to have more volume. But then again, Rob Font had one of the highest amount of strikes in a fight against Chito Vera. And Chito Vera still beat the piss out of him. I feel we're going to be leaning towards Chito Vera by decision in this fight. Pedro Munoz still never knocked out, I believe. I'm almost certain he's never been knocked out. Yep. Yeah, no. Never been knocked out. Pedro Munoz. Oof. I'm leaning towards Chito Vera for decision. If you want more detailed breakdown, be sure to watch down my videos. I'm going to be doing videos for each of the main card fights, which so far is only 4 because Garbrandt is out of the fight against Bautista. I'm not going to be covering the replacement for that unless it's something really good, but it's not going to be. This was supposed to be a showcase fight for Garbrandt, even though he was the underdog. But yeah. Neil Magny, short notice replacements against Ian Gary. Ian Gary, much more accomplished striker. This is who he won against Magny. Yes, Magny is an amazing, not amazing, but he's a much better grappler in this fight. I still think Ian Gary could flatline KO him, to be perfectly honest with you, but more details will be in my videos. Zhang Weili versus Amanda Lemos as the co-main event. I don't know really if Amanda Lemos off a 2-fight win streak really deserves that. But she is solid. She's been good in UFC, has a good record. But she did lose to Jessica Andrade, who we've seen has had a horrible year this year. So, and that was only a year ago she lost to Jessica Andrade. So, submission of the year, by the way. I don't know. I think Zhang Weili is going to be the more accomplished fighter. We have seen her get exposed by grappling by Rose Namajunas of all people, but I feel she's really worked on that. We saw how Carla Esparza, a heavy grappler, was able to do anything to Zhang, and Zhang was actually able to submit her. I think Zhang Weili inside the distance is going to be the best pick for this fight. Main event. I'm not going to talk much about this. I will leave this for my breakdown video of the main event. I don't like this fight. I don't like Aljamain Sterling. I'm sorry, I don't like him. I like Sean O'Malley, but I'm a realist here. Aljamain Sterling is one of the greatest bantamweights of all time, if not the greatest bantamweight of all time. I think he's going to beat O'Malley. I think O'Malley's really only avenues are his much better striking. Like, Aljamain Sterling's striking is garbage, and I hate it. I hate it so much. Sean O'Malley is very efficient, very beautiful, very fluent, very dynamic. But his grappling's been sus. And Aljamain Sterling's grappling is absolutely excellent. I don't like how he backpacks and hangs on people for control time. I hate that. But if he does get your neck, it's over. So, I'm leaning towards Aljamain Sterling. But yes, once again, this has been your boy Gomi. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow, because I'm going to be making more detailed breakdown videos for the 4 fights in the co-main event. Bye-bye.